Okay, so I'm on the train now from Liverpool to York in the UK. There's a few good travel tips that I can share with you about travelling in England. So we have this sunflower lanyard system, and the sunflower lanyard is meant for people with unseen disabilities. So I travel with epilepsy and several other chronic illnesses, and it helps people to identify that you might need extra help and support. There's a good app that you can download for trains in England, and it's called the Train Line. So if you go to thetrainline.com, and then you can book your tickets online, and you can get digital tickets that will scan in and out of the barriers at all of the train stations, and also get scanned on the train. You can get a card, a discount card. So if you're a young person, that means if you're 26 or under and you're living in the UK, you can get a young person's rail card. And if you've got a disability, you can also get a disabled rail card, and that includes unseen disabilities as well, particularly if you can't drive because of your illness. So that'll get you about a third off travel if you get one of those. The cheaper that you book your trains in advance, the better it is. So don't leave it till like the same day that you're going to travel when you're travelling in England. So we've just come through Manchester now, and then it's going to get to York in about an hour's time. I'm really looking forward to it. Hi, I've just arrived at York Station. It's a beautiful and historical station here in York. My train ticket was £44 from Liverpool to York, and that was with a third off with my rail card. To get to York City Centre, you can walk there in about 20 minutes. But if you do need to get in a taxi, there's a taxi rank straight outside as soon as you exit the station. One of the great things about York as a city for tourists is that it's extremely walkable. So once you've arrived at the train station, you can pretty much get everywhere that you want to go on foot. We've got Micklegate Bar right behind me, and Micklegate Bar is one of the most beautiful and one of the most prestigious gates to the city. There's 4 main gates to the city, and this is the gate where the monarchs, the kings and queens would be received. And what I'm going to do now is I'll take you through Micklegate Bar, and we'll walk down that road, and you'll see quite a lot of shops and restaurants and cafes. It's a nice vibrant area, and there's actually a pub crawl that they do, and it's called the Micklegate Run. So if you do fancy a night out, Micklegate it's got some great pubs and some great nightlife. Let's go and take a look down Micklegate. Bit of roadworks going on at the moment. You can head up onto the York walls up that way if you want to have a wall walk. The wall walk itself in York takes about 3 hours to do the whole circuit, but the best bit is up by Booth and Bar, because on that stretch you'll get really amazing views of the Minster. They really are doing some renovations at the minute. Really nice fish and chip shop there. You still can see some gorgeous Tudor style houses in York. They date back to, I think, the 1400s. So we're going to take a look shortly at the Shambles, and the Shambles is one of the UK's oldest streets, and you're going to see more of that style of architecture there as well. We're just walking across Bridge Street now. This is Spurrier Gate now, and there's a lovely cafe in that church on the left. This is walking up High Ouse Gate, and there's some really nice restaurants and places to pop in for a drink along here. So if you like pizza, there's Rudy's. If you like burgers, there's Byron. There's also a Nando's up here. It's just before 9 o'clock now, so we're trying to get to the Shambles before kind of 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock when all the tourists will descend. And that's the parish Church of All Saints pavement. Sorry about the background noise. This is all lit up at night, this church. More lovely old buildings on pavement. And the Shambles is just up here and on the left. And that's a really great pub there, the Golden Fleece. If you go in there, there's a skeleton in the back bar that you can sit and have a drink with. We made it to the Shambles, so welcome to one of the UK's most famous medieval streets. And this is quite possibly one of the oldest streets in England. Some of the properties here have been dated back to about 1350, and there's mention of properties on the Shambles in the Domesday Book, which was commissioned by William the Conqueror just after the invasion of England in 1066. You can see some of the Tudor style buildings were actually built with outward overhangs, and that's because it was a very, very narrow street and space on the ground was very expensive. These streets would have been really severely hit during the time of the plague as well. So if you get a chance to do a plague tour or a ghost walk in York, that's also something that I really, really recommend. There's some great little places along here. I recommend a cup of tea in the Earl Grey tea rooms. There's a Harry Potter shop, and I'm looking actually for Monk Bar chocolates or the Fudge Pantry. In fact, Monk Bar Chocolatiers is here just right in front of me, and that is really, really gorgeous chocolate. We might pop in there in a minute and have a look. Vikings. Oh, look at all them goblets. We're just walking down Low Petergate now, and you've got your first glimpse of the Minster at the end. On Low Petergate, there's a really nice pork sandwich shop called the Roast Pork Company, so I recommend that. The wind's picking up a little bit now, so sorry about the hair, but behind me you can see York Minster, which is the oldest Gothic cathedral in the UK, and it's also one of the most beautiful and impressive Gothic cathedrals in the whole of Europe. This actual building, construction started in 1220, but the churches on this site even predate that, because there was a church here in Saxon times and also in Norman times as well. And if you go into this cathedral, go down into the basement, you can actually see some of the old Norman walls. It's now currently £18 per ticket per adult, but I really recommend that you go inside.
Next, it's off to the York Viking Centre, where you get greeted by a living Viking waving an axe at you at the door. You then get taken on a little train ride that takes you back in time to Viking York.
It's not likely that they grew much food in the yards, but they probably kept animals there, such as those pigs you can see in the page by the fence. From the many pig bones we found here, we know that Viking pigs were quite sure to have a long snout like a wild bird. Pigs will eat almost anything, so it would have been a great way to turn household waste into money. Here's the blacksmith's house. Look inside and you can see his wife by the fire. Probably the blacksmith was teaching his son how to sharpen a knife he had just made. Viking smiths were masters of their craft, and here in York they made everything from needles to beautifully ornate panels. Now we'll go across to the next property and visit his neighbour, Unni, a woodturner who lives in one of the new style wooden plank buildings. Unni is making cups and bowls by turning wood such as oak or ash on his coal blade. You can see all the wooden coal waste on the ground, which children may have used as spinning tools. By the way, it's this trade that many think gave its name to Stonegate, the street of the cup makers. Another building is being built behind Unni's house. Here the cellar is being dug out and lined with oak planks before the upper story is added. You can see a stack of turfs over there that are going to be used to roof this building. Looks like the builders are having a rest though. This family also looked like they're taking a break. The children being taught to play Nefertari by their grandfather. We found a wooden gaming board and lots of playing pieces here made from bone, wood and iron, so it must have been a popular pastime. Let's go back towards the river where big trading ships have been that have come up from the North Sea. Here, traders are unloading their goods alongside fishermen cleaning their catch. Goods and raw materials from across Britain, as well as rare and valuable items from further afield, were brought into York here. Iron ore bars from Britain alongside amber, sharp stones and walrus oil from Scandinavia, and good wine from the Rhine. York was truly bustling, a vast international trading centre. Here's some fishermen cleaning their catch and mending their nets.
The reason we call it King's Purple or Emperor's Purple is the Roman Emperor was the only one who was allowed to wear a full big toga dyed completely purple.
Now this one here, we put over the top of both stamps. Back in the Viking period, you'd have these two held together by an apprentice or a slave, which is mostly. If I miss, I'm going to break some fingers. This is for our protection then, to put this over the top, like so. No one else to touch it, it's a lot safer. See a small band here, guys. 3, 2, 1. That's one. 3, 2, 1. So that's 3 pennies. We can buy with that is altogether, because you've got 3 months' wages there, buy 16 chickens, 4 barrels of beer and a pig.
Second day in York, and this is Coney Street, the main shopping street. There's 2 more places that I want to show you in York before I leave here, and that's Stonegate, because there's loads of good little independent shops on Stonegate, and also museum gardens. Betty's Tea Rooms is one of the most popular little spots to grab coffee and maybe a brunch or a breakfast. It's quite famous. There's also a Betty's in Harrogate.
We're just coming up to the armoury shop here. Very touristy but very cool. And just along here on Stonegate is one of my favourite bars in York, and it's called Evil Eye. It all looks a little bit closed now because it's too early in the morning, but this place has over 30 different vodkas, and it's one of my favourite places to go out drinking here. Just entering Museum Gardens. There's a couple of really interesting things that I want to show you in Museum Gardens. Museum Gardens is free to get in. There's the York Museum, which you can see here coming up on the right, and you pay to get in there, but it's full of archaeological evidence and history of York. Then, right ahead of us, you can see my favourite thing in York, which is St Mary's Abbey. And this abbey was built in 1088. And at one point, it was one of the most wealthy and most important Benedictine monasteries in the UK. But sadly, all that's left of this is ruins now, because it was destroyed under the rule of Henry VIII in the dissolution of the monasteries. Do have a walk around the gardens, they're very beautiful. And you've also got another old house, possibly one of the oldest houses in England, that's there ahead of us, and it's called the Hospitium. You can have a look in there, depending on what's on. But they also hold weddings and things, proper events in there. Oh, and one more thing about Museum Gardens. If you go at the right time, you might catch the owls and the eagles. And this is by York Birds of Prey. Whoa. You can pay to hold them, and you can also fly some of them as well. We've just got time for a little bit of photography over Lendal Bridge and a short walk across another section of the medieval walls before we head back to the train station. So I hope that you've had a really fantastic time watching this video and enjoying York with me. If you've got any questions, please comment below. And thank you for listening. Bye.